Today we are with Renata Ramirez. She is the Director of Marketing and Communications at the University of San Diego School of Business. Welcome, Renata.
Thank you.
Let's kind of jump into your role here at University of San Diego. Can you tell me a little bit about what you do?
I'm in charge of developing the strategy for our school and implementing the strategy. I'm in charge of our brand, so I'm the person who is managing all of our design and creatives and print materials. I'm in charge of our lead generation for graduate programs, so I run all of our digital marketing campaigns and then track that with an external agency partner. I'm in charge of pitching our our faculty experts to the media and promoting our university and the research that's being done here. So yeah, I get to wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
And pretty much the bottom line is that I'm in charge of kind of tracking the results, making sure the strategy is going well, and we are actually getting the exposure that we were looking for, and we are attracting the students that we're looking for, and things like that, and then reporting back to the dean of the school.
Awesome. What are you most passionate about your role here?
Well, I love that I get to do marketing in an institution of higher education, and especially here at USD, since I'm an alumna from the MBA program here. So I really enjoy being able to give back, if you will, in this way, by attracting future students to have the experience that I had here when I was a student. So I really enjoy that. I really believe in higher education as a path for success, for career success. That's how I, got to where I am today. So to me, it means a lot that I'm able to do that and provide this opportunity to others to get a graduate degree or even an undergraduate degree for such a good quality school.
Great. Mm-hmm. What are some of the challenges that you face here, as a marketer in higher education? Mm-hmm. What are some issues that you might run into?
That's an interesting question. We face so many challenges as marketers today. I think that one of the biggest things that I feel everybody's facing this is how do we get the attention of the students? They're bombarded with so many ads, and they're bombarded with stories and emails, their inbox is overflowing. Are they really reading what we're sending them? How do we get their attention? That is one of the biggest challenges, I think, when I'm talking about the audience of current students. That would be one. The other thing is the high pace of change in the field of marketing. So if you just think back maybe 5 years ago, how much time did we spend trying to really create a very nice, personable brand on Facebook that people would connect to and they would find authentic, right? Mm-hmm. And now students are not even using Facebook anymore. So we have to start thinking of what's the next thing? How do I change my strategy and now create all of that in a different platform or scratch social media altogether and go into who knows what,
Right.
So that constant change is a challenge. You have to be learning always. So we have to like learning, I guess, right, and testing new things.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, that makes sense. So let's kind of dig deeper into these strategies. I know that you're saying, Facebook might not work as well as it would have 5 years ago. What are some of the strategies that you guys are currently implementing here?
So I came into this role about a year ago, and one of the first things that I did was, one of our goals here was to increase our number of graduate students in our programs. We have a waiting list for undergraduates at this point. We're doing very well with undergraduate students.
Cool.
But we have capacity to grow our graduate programs. We have about 8 different master's degrees. So we were doing this strategy, digital marketing, of pretty much just using Google AdWords as lead generation strategy. So I came in and I looked at the strategy and I realized that we were spending a lot of money and not getting a lot of results from the investment we were putting in, and rearranged our campaigns with the help of an agency, of course. We rearranged our campaigns and started exploring different platforms. So Facebook ads, Instagram ads, LinkedIn ads. And we have been able to really get much better results and stretch our dollars a little further, if you will. We're now getting we got this year 3 times the number of leads that we did the previous year with the same investment. That has been very successful. We've also been able to show that through an attribution model that people may see your ad on Facebook and then on LinkedIn, and later they Google you and they see your ad on Google, and then they convert. So we've been able to prove that that is true, that if you have a presence in various platforms, you have a higher chance of converting a person, rather than just seeing the ad once on Google and then expecting that that's going to bring the results that you're looking for.
Yeah, kind of being omnipresent in different platforms and kind of being everywhere instead of just one, being on Facebook. Primarily.
And we're also doing some remarketing now for the people who even come organically to our pages. Now they see our ads, follow them after that, and some people may think that's annoying, but it's effective.
Sure.
We have seen conversions on the ads that follow people after they've left.
Yeah, also. It works.
Yeah.
Cool. So it sounds like you guys are pretty deep into digital. Is that kind of the main focus for you moving forward?
Yeah, it's a big focus. I've moved some of the budget we used to spend on print ads and billboards and things like that. I've moved that money into digital because we, as marketers, now have a chance of being very granular with our strategy when using digital. And also, we're able to not only track the results and then really know if it's effective, but also beta test some of the ads. So, when you put a billboard out there, you're not quite sure if the message is resonating, if it would have been better to use this word or the other word. And now what we're doing is we're testing these messages, 2 different ads to the same audience for the same program, and whichever is performing better, we're going with that one. And then we can carry that out to the billboard afterwards. So we are having a stronger focus on digital, but we're still, of course, San Diego is our biggest market. We need to maintain a brand presence here. We still ran some billboards this year, and out of home, and some bus back advertising here in town only to stay top of mind. But digital has been our strongest move, and that's going to be going forward as well.
What platform in particular have you been seeing the greatest ROI?
That depends on the program, really. So it's really interesting. We started off saying, let's use all platforms for all programs, right? And then soon we realized that, for example, we have this Masters in Executive Leadership. And that is a program for executives that have at least 10 years of work experience. We noticed that our ads on Facebook were not bringing very good quality leads. I mean, because the point is not really to increase the leads, but it's also to bring a student, right? I mean, I can have 50 leads that are not very high quality, and none of them become a student. That's not the goal either. So we noticed that with that program, it made more sense to invest more on LinkedIn, actually, and we're paying more for conversion now for that program, but we know that the person that's coming through that channel is a qualified person who might really be interested in this degree. So depending on the program, we have kind of crafted a specific strategy now after we tested for about 6 months, program by program.
Cool.
Now we're going a step further, actually, and we are going to start doing different target personas per program. So making it even more granular, the MBA program now will have 3 or 4 personas, and then 3 ad copies and images per persona with a landing page that speaks to that. That's like what I'm hoping to implement next level of...
Yeah, very cool. Let's talk a little bit about these audiences that you're targeting, these personas. Who is that? You said that undergrad you guys are pretty good with, so it's mainly grad students?
Yeah, so at the university, our undergraduate recruitment is centralized, so I don't have to worry about that as much. And as I said, we have been growing as a school, and the demand has been growing here. We have a lot of applications. We don't need to increase anything. Graduate school, it's really up to each of the schools to run their campaigns to bring graduate students. And in the past, the way it was done is recruitment fairs, right, and events, and the recruiters would go to fairs. There wasn't really marketing being done. It was more like the school reputation, and you go to fairs and you connect with people, and then they sign up or they don't. But I think there wasn't as much competition for the graduate students as there is today with all the online programs that are out there, and so many other schools and programs being launched every year. I mean, even here in my time as marketing manager and then marketing director, I've launched 2 master's programs in 3 years. So, I mean, there's more and more coming, and the competition is tough now. So we have to shift our strategies and to really reach that persona that I'm talking about. So yes, we are more focused on graduate students.
Okay.
I mean, at least I am, because the university takes care of the undergraduate recruitment, and the graduate recruitment is up to me to support our recruiters.
What does that persona typically look like? I mean, I'm sure it varies, right?
Yeah.
But what kind of personas maybe are you guys targeting specifically?
For the School of Business, we have a big focus on doing good. So our brand is really about doing well while doing good. So our dean always talks about the Penta bottom line, and our kind of brand tagline, if you will, is business as a force for good. So we are looking to attract those individuals who are looking for high quality education. They can get, the finance that they need, the skills that they need for business analytics, but that they actually want to implement something in an organization that's also going to make a difference in the world, in the work that they're doing. So we have actually also a lot of social entrepreneurs that come out of our school and our university. That's the big angle. But so that could be the thread that is on all of these personas. And then if you want to know about the specific program, there's like 4 different ones per program. But
Great. What kind of content are you guys using to target these audiences?
Well, we are working on, digital ads, that's paid. We have social media, organic content that we put out there. We're putting a lot of emphasis on storytelling. So we've been working on alumni spotlights, telling the story of the successful alumni that have come out of our school and tying it back to something good that they're doing with the degree, not only doing well, but doing good. Video, we have a few series of videos. We started this Meet Our Experts video series. And that is because one of the differentiator factors here of our school is that our class size is really small, so it's 20 to 30 students in a classroom. And you will never be taught by a TA or a research assistant. The professors here, they are doing research, great research, but they are the ones in class, and they are the ones who are going to be coaching you and connecting you to your future job. They're very invested. So we were hoping that with this new series of videos, we could connect our prospective students with the professor who they're going to get to work with, and to see how approachable they are and how the great research they're doing, but also how they coach you when you're doing a consulting project in Rio de Janeiro for a company, for example. So through video, it's much easier to bring that personality to life and really get authentic with who is this person who's going to be teaching me, who is actually going to be a friend of yours throughout the program and after the program, because that's the way it works here. That's the relationship our professors have with the students.
Yeah, that's a really interesting way to utilize video. I've never heard of that being done with like a professor video, essentially. Like, is that kind of an introduction before the student signs up for the class, or is it something that is kind of sent to them once they sign up for the class, or how does that kind of?
No, it's even before. It's just during like the beginning of the channel, I guess, while they're in consideration process. So on the website, they may see some of these videos, Meet Our Experts. And then they start watching, and instead of being the researcher and all they're doing with research, which also comes up, it's more about who they are and what they're passionate about and stuff like that.
Very cool.
So it's on our website, and we share that on social media as well, and on some email drip campaigns.
Cool. Are you guys using video for anything else besides that one campaign?
Yes. We are doing a lot of short videos. Right now, we were shooting this week some alumni testimonial videos for our graduate programs. So basically trying to show the impact of the degree and what have you been able to do with your degree since you got out of class here. So we're trying to create some of that. Also, one thing that I've realized recently, our website has some content and you can get a feel for what this degree is about, but there's no way you can really get a real feel for what it is unless you're here. And so we created a few short videos because the campus is so beautiful, and a lot of times when students come visit campus, that's when they decide, well, this is where I want to go.
Yeah.
So with this short video series, I mean, they're not video series, they're like short video explaining what's unique about this degree and who is it for. So that just to give prospective students the opportunity to watch a 3-minute video rather than read the content if that's what they prefer.
Right.
So we are, for program by program, the MBA, the Masters in Executive Leadership, the new Masters in Business Analytics, we're going to do a short, like, it has the students from their point of view, how's the program been so far, professor explaining what makes the program unique and something like that, and shows the campus.
Cool. Why do you like utilizing video for this purpose?
Yeah, like I said, I think that content is a little dry. I mean, no matter how great we write or whatever, we're using great personality or in that content, it doesn't really get to your heart, I feel like, sometimes. Video communicates emotion in a much deeper way. You really get to feel what it is to be here through watching a video that you wouldn't when you're reading content on the webpage. So that is why we're exploring more and more video. And also, I think that people are less and less likely to read a lot. They are so used to being bombarded with short videos and promotions and a picture and that's it, move on to the next thing, that if you don't grab their attention within 10 seconds, you lost them.
Right.
So to give them that opportunity to be a little more passive on watching something rather than having to do the research and the work and reading, which is more work.
Right.
I think.
Cool. Let's talk about kind of the USD brand and how you guys kind of utilize that brand awareness for marketing and how that kind of affects what you guys do here.
Yeah. So schools of business compete a lot on rankings, and that is a big thing that we use a lot. I mean, every time there's a new ranking that comes out, we announce it on PR and all channels and email marketing and all kind of stuff. And that kind of continues keeps the reputation going for the school and the mind's top, and keeps us top of mind. Lately, we have been using more LinkedIn even for those announcements, which we weren't before. And we see that a lot of our alumni have been sharing those stories on LinkedIn, and it just kind of is a perfect space for that, actually.
Right.
To announce that we're rising up in rankings and things like that, because they feel proud and they're hanging out on LinkedIn themselves as business professionals, and they want to show that they went to a good school to their colleagues, right?
Yeah.
So that has gotten a little viral when we're doing that, announcing it on LinkedIn rather than just on Facebook, which we previously we were doing that. Yeah, and in terms of our brand, we have a very unique position with our brand, and as I mentioned before, our focus is business as a force for good. So we kind of keep on sharing stories that speak to that, and sharing research of professors that are doing research on things that are making a difference in the world. Our dean, every time he speaks in every conference or any time he talks, he always talks about the 5 Ps, which is, that we are developing graduates that are not only concerned about the bottom line, but the penta bottom line, which is peace, prosperity, planet, profit, and one more P. But basically, like a more holistic approach to business is what we are trying to put out there as a school. That's our core brand and our positioning.
Great. What about future campaigns and strategies? What do you guys kind of have in mind for that?
Yeah, one thing, definitely I want to get a little more granular with our audience targeting. So continue to develop those personas, and the next level of that, which I mentioned earlier, which is landing pages that speak to specific personas for a higher conversion on those landing pages. That's one thing. Another thing that we haven't explored, and I love to explore this next academic year, is YouTube marketing. So we have gone from just Google AdWords to Google, LinkedIn, remarketing, Facebook, all of that, but we have not gotten into YouTube marketing yet. And I've heard, from conferences that I've attended, great ROI on those campaigns.
Right.
So that's something that I'd like to test, maybe in the next semester. Something I'm looking for.
Do you have any initial ideas on what that YouTube pre-roll campaign would look like?
No, I don't know. I haven't stopped to think about that. It's just something that's in the back of my mind, and I'm thinking we need to get to video marketing. That's definitely the next step here.
Cool.
Yeah, the other thing too that I've been thinking about is a little more sophistication in email marketing campaigns. We don't have a great software. That's what's stopping me right now. I'm actually trying to get the university to upgrade the software that we have for email marketing. But I feel like consumers are getting such great emails from Amazon and Uber, the Ubers of the world, that they have such sophistication with email marketing, such personalized email that they're getting. And we are becoming irrelevant. If we're not talking to them specifically about something they're worried about, if we're not using artificial intelligence to understand what kind of a subject line we want to use in this campaign to have them really look at the email, we're missing an opportunity here. So I would like to get way more sophisticated with our email marketing campaigns, nurturing campaigns as well.
Right. Is that more of like a marketing automation strategy that you like to get kind of dig deeper into, or is that just like a different platform, or?
Both. Yeah. So also a different platform that can allow us to do email marketing based on customer journeys, and also can, send an email out if somebody comes to our website 5 times, let's say, they can receive an email because they visited the website a few times. So there's some automation that can be done that I have seen being done, and also the personalization on the subject lines and things like that can only be done with better software.
Sure.
So that kind of stuff.
What are you guys currently using for email marketing?
We are on Salesforce as a CRM system, and that is a great thing because I know that we can use many different softwares, can speak to Salesforce, and that's a great thing. However, we're only using TargetX, which is the kind of the email tool that comes with Salesforce, and it's not really meant for marketing in the way that I wish marketing emails would look like. So I tend to look at as competition, I don't tend to look at other universities, but I'm always looking at the industry, what's going on with Amazon, the Ubers of the world, and Google, because I know that our students, they're getting used to receiving that quality of an email, not, and if we're not up to standards against the biggest businesses out there, then what kind of a business school are you?
Sure.
So that's where I'm comparing myself to, and I'm thinking we're a little behind.
Got it. Do you have an idea of what platform you'd like to integrate to, like a HubSpot or something like that?
Well, HubSpot would be great.
Infusionsoft, maybe?
Yeah. I would like to test HubSpot, but if we were to stay within Salesforce, I've seen demonstrations of Pardot, which is a software that speaks to Salesforce. I have not used it myself, but I've heard good things. So that's one that I've been actually telling the university to get on, but that is a kind of a battle. That's one of the challenges working within a university. I'm not my own business. I'm not running a business alone. We have to get everybody on board. All these other schools would have to buy in because it's a big investment for the university. So I have to kind of rally everyone into let's move on to this platform. Yeah. And so it's a little bit out of my hands at the moment.
Right. Let's maybe talk a little bit about some of those challenges that you face working in a university, in an institution. I know that with you running kind of like a smaller team and you're just trying to kind of prove ROI and you're showing that, how are you, kind of dealing with some of those challenges?
Yeah, so one of the challenges, like you mentioned, is that I don't have a big team. I'm the director of marketing, and I have a part-time employee, and that's it. And we're running all of these different campaigns. But the positive side of that is that I get to hire external partners to do a lot of the stuff for me. So external designer, an external photographer, external agency for the digital ads. And that is actually great because I get to choose the best people who are working out with different industries, not just higher education, and they're very up to date on what's going on with marketing, right? They're always attending conferences and they're learning. So that is a negative thing, but also positive. I don't have a big team, but I get to utilize a lot of experts, the best of in the field. The other thing is universities are a little more conservative, I guess, in their marketing. So there's usually a battle a little bit with the main university brand and what we're putting out as our brand here in the school. The university is more traditional in the type of brochures and flyers they're putting out there, and we are trying to push the envelope and make something a little more 20th century kind of look for the younger kids and all that. So sometimes there's a little bit of friction there. I don't have to have them approve what we're doing, but I hear sometimes this is a little bit off-brand, or it's kind of pushing the envelope a little bit. That's another challenge that we have to be always. And then I guess, but the biggest challenge really is sometimes my hands are tied. Like I can't decide to jump into a new email software, or even I cannot go into HubSpot, because if the university is not in it, I cannot, as one school, be using a different system. So I have to work with what I have.
Yeah. What's something that you've previously done in the past that was working and maybe is not working as well today?
Yeah, I think going back to Facebook and how that has changed in the last few years, how when we started marketing on social media, it was like the platform to be pushing organic content and be active every day. Now we're posting and we're noticing that it's not getting the traction that it used to organically. So it has become this pay-to-play platform. And if you're not willing to boost your post, which is something that we do sometimes, you know, we have to, right? Then your post was just a waste of your time, because nobody is really seeing that message.
Right.
So what we have started doing really is we're making sure that that same message, in a different, with a little bit of a tweak, you know, to the language, depending on the platform, is being put out also on Instagram, also on LinkedIn, Twitter even, so that if the person missed it on Facebook, they saw it in these other different platforms. And also then we add that on our newsletter, the same stories on our newsletter. So we're just trying to diversify the platform that we're using. And we have seen that LinkedIn has worked really well, actually surprisingly well. I think that they have not done anything to the algorithm that Facebook has yet.
Right.
And so, and people sometimes see a post that I posted 2 weeks ago and it shows up on their feed now, and they're still interacting with that. So we've seen a lot of traction on LinkedIn, maybe because we're a business school. It makes sense for us. And we're also using Instagram stories in a fun way, a little bit, just like for behind the scenes things, and sometimes to promote an event with a little video, kind of like, hey, don't miss this event, or whatever that's going on.
Are you guys running any Insta story ads yet?
Yeah, we are.
Cool. How are those doing?
They're doing good. I mean, right now, I think we're looking at the aggregate Facebook, Instagram as a one metric.
Oh, sure.
So I'm not sure if this versus that. I leave that to the agency, right?
Sure.
They're the ones monitoring the specific from Instagram story to Instagram ad to the other one. But
cool. What is one thing that you're noticing, you know, maybe other higher ed institutions doing that you would suggest them not do?
You know, I feel like one of the things that I see the most that kind of surprises me and that I wish they weren't doing is the type of content they're pushing out on social media. You know, sometimes it comes across so dry and so like from the company, and it doesn't have any authenticity to it. And to me, that's a missed opportunity, because people are on social media to be friends, not to hear like a sales speech from a company. And I think that higher education institutions can do a better job in social media to connect with their audiences and to be more authentic as a brand.
Great. I totally agree. I think that, you know, authentic storytelling, especially in higher ed, makes a lot of sense. How are you guys utilizing that within the School of Business at USD?
So a couple of things that we have done. Sometimes we do student takeovers, so we have and professors takeovers. So we have, when I was previously the marketing manager for the Kroc School of Peace Studies, and we had a class that went to Rwanda for a week to do a field peace building class there. And we had the student do a takeover of their entire trip, day to day, what they were doing, short videos, and telling the story through their own lenses, and that was really great.
Nice.
The other thing we're doing now in the School of Business is we have this thing called Share My Story that we started, and it was modeled after the Humans of New York Instagram page, if you've seen that.
Right.
Which shows the story of who are these people in the city, right? So here we're showing who are these people in the school, because there's a perception as a private institution of higher education that we are kind of only for rich kids, and you know, this perception that is really not true when you're here. The experience is that we have a very diverse group of students, and we wanted to show that, and we wanted them to tell their stories also, so people can connect and say, well, I'm similar to her, and I can be there too. You know,
Yeah.
I can apply to the school.
Yeah.
And we've had a great success with that. Parents get proud. They share the story. The
Cool.
student friends all comment on the stories, and they're telling things like, I'm a first-generation student. My family came from Vietnam. They had nothing.
Wow.
And here I am. I just transferred from a community college, and I've had a great experience here. I feel at home. And it's really powerful to have them tell the story rather than we, you know, people don't trust brands anymore as much anyway.
Well, yeah.
So that has been powerful.
Very cool. So putting like the perspective in the hands of the students or the people that are actually here and not from the administrative perspective in a way, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, cool.
Right.
So what's the biggest thing you've learned since starting here at USD?
So I've been at USD for about 5 years, and I was, you know, in the School of Peace Studies for 2 years as marketing manager, brand new to a marketing manager role, and there has never been a marketing person in the school, so I got to lay the groundwork here, and now I'm in the School of Business. One of the biggest things that I've learned is that a lot of times we overlook the power of good design and good imagery and good content, and we go for like, oh, let's just put this event together and make this in-house little flyer-looking thing, and how that can really be not in your best, you know, interest. I mean, you spend so much money trying to advertise this event, and nobody comes to the event at the end of the day, and it was just because you missed the point that you need to create something professional that will make people feel like this is something they want to be part of. And I feel like sometimes we want to be cost conscious and we don't want to spend a little more on a very professionally designed flyer or for an event, for example, and that ends up biting us because we end up not being able to attract the people that we wanted to hear.
Sure.
So I think that the basics, the fundamentals of marketing are still important, you know, in terms of great design, great copy, speaking to the audience, the right audience. I mean, those basic things have to continue being top of mind in everything that we do. And sometimes you try to be a little, like, do this quickly, and it hasn't worked very well. That has been something that I've learned. And the paid gave us a lot of return in the School of Peace Studies was one. For example, we started doing a lot of flyers that were really out there, kind of different, innovative. And it's a field that you need to attract people's curiosity to, because otherwise you're not going to consider peace studies.
Right.
So we went from very traditional looking materials to very out there, innovative looking things. And out of a sudden, we had more people who were not from the field wanting to understand what is this all about. So I think some fundamentals of marketing, they are as important as the new things that are coming out there. And to not lose sight of that has been a good lesson, because I myself didn't even think that it was as powerful as I've seen it, you know, the difference of a well-designed thing versus...
Yeah, it seems like there's so many bells and whistles these days that a lot of people get away from foundational marketing tactics and strategies. So it's cool to hear you say that. And I think that understanding that target audience at the end of the day is super important too, instead of just let's make a cool, you know, looking flyer and put it up and people are going to see it. But, you know, is it the right type of content? Is that type of event something that this person will want to go to? And am I communicating that effectively enough for them to, you know, be into the idea? So.
And the great thing is that now we get to test that with digital. I mean, our lives are easy. I think as marketers, it's easier now than it was a few years back.
Oh, of course.
Right? Because we actually just last week, we're running an event here on campus, and we created 2 different ads for the event with different imagery, different content, same audience, to understand which would resonate and which would bring more people to this event. And so we are able to test that now, thankfully.
Cool.
But again, you can't lose sight of the well-designed ad and things like that.
Cool. Let's talk about kind of, you know, selling the result of an MBA degree, right? I mean, students come to USD, they come to a university because at the end of the day, they want a career, they want a job. So how are you guys using that in your marketing?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question because I have a good answer to that. We actually recently did a short survey, really it was a 2-minute survey, asking our recent MBAs what the ROI has been of the degree in their careers. And when I was analyzing the data, I was pleasantly surprised to see that 100%, I mean, the students were giving such credit to the education, and like 50% of them had gotten an increase of salary of $20,000 or more after graduating. 90% would recommend the degree to a colleague, and all this great, ROI, 100% satisfied with the degree, got another job offer, got a job after graduation, and we were able to quantify that impact, right?
Yeah.
And so we turned that into an email marketing campaign for the leads we're nurturing right now. So we're saying, what's really the impact of an MBA? What's my ROI if I get an MBA? That's kind of the campaign.
Right.
And then we go through the metrics saying recent graduates said 50% of them got a salary increase of $20,000. 100% of them see a positive ROI in their careers. 90% of them use something they learned from the classroom in their jobs today. 90% feel more confident as leaders, things like that.
Yeah.
It was such a great response.
Yeah.
And then we turned that into also a little flyer thing that we send out. We mailed out, like a little mailer, mailed out to some of our prospective MBAs. And that's kind of like, yeah, I mean, we're not just here trying to sell you this education that's kind of an investment of your time and money. We're here to actually prepare you and give you the skills that can actually help you in the workplace, that will provide real results for you. So
exactly. At the end of the day, that's what matters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is there anything else that we didn't touch on that you'd like to discuss?
I don't think so. It was pretty comprehensive.
Yeah, that was really good information.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank you.
it.
Thanks for having me.
Cool. Cut.